The key thing people want to know, that there are not going to be more of these sleepovers in which people have to wonder.
Nobody wonders when kids sleep over at my house.
But
Nobody
are they
wonders.
over? Are you going to watch out for it now?
Watch out for
just
what?
for the sake of the children and for
No,
everything
because
you've been through?
it's all moral and it's all pure. I don't even think that way. It's not what's in my heart.
So you'll
I would
do it
never,
again?
Ever do what again?
I mean, you'll have a child
Of
sleeping
course, if they want.
Yes.
It's on the level of purity and love and just innocence, complete innocence. If you're talking about sex, and that's a nut. That's not me. Go to the guy down the street because it's not Michael Jackson.
For years, journalists believed they knew how to handle Michael Jackson. They arrived prepared with familiar questions, the endless rumors, the tabloid stories, the speculation about his appearance, and the controversies that followed him everywhere. They expected a global superstar who would simply defend himself under pressure. But Michael was rarely as easy to corner as they imagined. Behind the quiet voice and gentle manner was someone who understood the power of composure. He didn't need anger. He didn't need confrontation. He could disarm a difficult question with a few carefully chosen words, calmly exposing the weakness behind it. Sometimes, a single correction was enough. Sometimes, he would answer with a question of his own, forcing the person across from him to rethink the direction of the conversation. And in those moments, the balance of power changed. The interviewer who came prepared to challenge Michael Jackson often found themselves facing a completely different situation. Not a defensive celebrity, but a thoughtful person who knew exactly how to handle the spotlight.
We've conceived a child with a black woman
Of
as
course.
a surrogate mother.
Of course.
But I've seen Blanket, and I think safe to say his mother was probably white.
No, you're wrong.
I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So Blanket's mother's black?
Yeah.
But Blanket's so light.
Black people were called colored people because we come in all colors. From very
Michael
white,
had a rare
as
ability
white
to
as my hand,
transform the
to
very
very dark
questions
as the
meant
dark
to
as your
challenge
shirt.
him into moments of deeper reflection. When interviewers brought up his childhood, they often approached it as another chapter in the life of a famous entertainer, a familiar success story about a young boy who became a superstar. But Michael did not always give them the simple version they expected. Instead, he opened the door to the painful memories hidden behind the image of the legendary Jackson 5. He spoke about the pressure, the fear, and the harsh experiences that shaped his early years in the spotlight. The mood would change almost instantly. What began as a routine question about childhood became something far more serious. The interviewer was searching for a story about fame and success, but Michael revealed the emotional cost that came with it. Behind the music, behind the performances, and behind the worldwide recognition was a childhood filled with struggles that many people never saw.
How often would he beat you?
Too much.
Would he only use a belt?
Why do you do this to me? No, more than a belt.
What else would he use to hit you with?
Iron cords. Whatever's around. Throw you up against the wall hard as he could. See, it's one thing to...
But you were only a child.
I know.
You were a baby.
I know. It's one thing to discipline.
And you were producing successful records.
I know. He would lose his temper. I just remember hearing my mother scream, "Joe, you're gonna kill him, you're gonna kill him, stop it, you're gonna kill him."
Michael refused to accept the idea
and I was
that
so
his
fast, he
extraordinary
couldn't
life
catch
meant
me
he
half
could
the
never
time.
understand ordinary struggles. When questions suggested that fame had separated him from reality, he responded by pointing to a deeper truth. He had never truly been given the chance to experience a normal life at all. The spotlight followed him from childhood. Every step, every mistake, and every personal moment was examined by the world. The question may have been designed to portray him as someone distant from everyday people, but Michael shifted the conversation towards something far more complicated. How could someone live a normal life when the world never allowed them to be treated normally? In that moment, the focus moved away from celebrity privilege and toward the isolation that came with unimaginable fame. A life watched by millions, yet understood by very few.
There are some people who believe that having always been on stage, you've never had to deal with the real world.
Yeah, that's true in one way. That's true in one way, but it's hard to in my position. I try to sometimes, but people won't deal with me in that way because they see me different.
The conversation
they
then
won't talk
shifts
to me
toward
like
one
they
of the
will
most misunderstood
next
parts
door
of
neighbor.
Michael's identity. His connection to Peter Pan and the idea of never losing the innocence of childhood. The question is presented almost like a challenge. It suggests that holding on to childhood is something unusual, something he should explain or defend. But Michael does not react with embarrassment. Instead, he embraces it. He does not distance himself from Neverland or pretend that this part of his personality does not exist. He explains it as something meaningful, a reflection of the childhood experiences he missed, and the joy he continued to find in imagination and creativity. What was meant to make him appear immature becomes something much more personal. Rather than allowing the question to define him, Michael changes the meaning behind it. He turns what others saw as a weakness into a window into his emotions, his memories, and the part of himself he refused to abandon.
Do you identify with him?
Totally.
You don't want to grow up.
No, I am Peter Pan.
Michael then reframes the entire
You're like
conversation
Michael
by
Jackson.
looking
I'm
beyond
Peter
the
Pan
judgment
by heart.
attached to his lifestyle. Instead of accepting the idea that his interests were unusual, he explains them through something much more relatable: the simple things that bring people happiness. Everyone has their own way of finding peace. Some people play sports. Others spend time on personal hobbies, creative activities, or places where they feel comfortable. For Michael, moments surrounded by nature, climbing trees, and experiencing that sense of freedom represented something pure and calming. The question was designed to make those choices appear strange, but his response stripped away the mystery surrounding them. Suddenly, it was no longer about a superstar living an unusual life. It was about a person finding small moments of happiness in a world where almost every part of his life was judged. And that made the criticism much harder to hold on to. Because beneath the headlines was something far more simple, personal, and human.
Don't you prefer making love or going to a concert, or you really mean that you prefer climbing trees and having a balloon fight?
Yeah, what a balloon fight.
And you prefer that to anything else?
Well, as my pastime, fun. Can't compare it to performing.
The conversation then
But
moves
other
toward
people
one of the
play
most
football,
repeated
basketball,
and
I could
controversial
choose.
subjects surrounding Michael Jackson: his appearance, his skin, and the endless speculation that followed him for years. It was a topic the media had returned to countless times, often turning personal matters into public discussion and using them as another way to create mystery around him. But Michael does not allow the question to put him on the defensive. Instead of apologizing or trying to satisfy the curiosity behind the rumors, he challenges the foundation of the conversation itself. He makes the point that many of these stories were not built on truth, but on speculation, exaggeration, and headlines designed to capture attention. The focus shifts away from Michael having to explain himself and toward the way the world had chosen to judge him. In that moment, he exposes something deeper: how easily the media could transform a person's private life into entertainment. What was meant to make him appear unusual begins to reveal something else. The obsession was not with understanding Michael, but with creating a story around him.
People do go too far with plastic surgery, generally. Do you think
Well,
it's become... So why are you so defensive when people say Mick Jagger's had one, Paul McCartney may have had one. Oh, Michael Jackson's had one.
They don't do it that way.
What do they do?
Just pick on me like I'm the only one that does it. That's
So if people said, well, actually, Michael's the same as everyone else, then it wouldn't upset you so much.
As the interview continues,
You know, if you want to have a facelift, you have a
begins to
facelift.
change.
if it makes you happy.
Michael's reaction reveals that this is no longer about a single question or one isolated rumor. It represents something much larger. Years of being forced to defend himself against the same personal topics again and again. Instead of focusing on his music, his creativity, or his achievements, the conversation keeps returning to speculation and controversy, and that repetition begins to weigh on him. His frustration is not just about what is being asked in that moment. It is about the pattern behind it, the feeling of constantly being pulled away from his work and into conversations built around rumors. The more the interviewer presses, the clearer the imbalance becomes. What was supposed to be an investigation starts feeling less like a search for truth and more like another attempt to keep Michael trapped inside the stories created about him.
You talked about how when you went through adolescence, you had a terrible time.
Yeah.
And in fact, I had a look at some pictures of you during that period. And you did have a lot of spots.
Yeah. And being shy as I am and was.
The conversation then
worse.
moves into the strange rumors that had surrounded
It's
Michael
like a
Jackson for
disease.
years, the kind of stories that had become impossible for him to escape. But this time, Michael refuses to play along. Instead of giving those claims the seriousness the interviewer expects, he challenges the very idea behind them. He reminds people that not every story repeated in public is based on reality, and that some narratives grow because they attract attention, generate headlines, and create profit. For Michael, these rumors were not simply misunderstandings. They were part of a larger system where sensational stories could become more valuable than the truth itself. And that changes the entire dynamic of the interview. The question is no longer about whether the rumor deserves an answer. It becomes a question about why the rumor was given so much power in the first place. Michael does not allow himself to be defined by the stories created around him. He turns the focus back on the machine that created them, showing how easily curiosity could be transformed into a product.
You read that Michael Jackson's a weirdo. You read that Michael Jackson's bizarre. You read that he's done this, he's done that. Now, I know some of those stories are not true because, even I was accused of being at your wedding, and I knew that wasn't true. But how do you feel about all the stories that are written about you?
It's very sad. I just want the fans to know and to understand that it's not the truth. 99.9% of it is not the truth. And don't read it, don't believe it, it's garbage, it's tabloid junk. I mean, they just simply make it up for greed and
One
money.
of the moments that shows this most clearly comes when the interviewer brings up a particularly strange rumor, the claim that Michael wanted a white child to portray him in a Pepsi commercial. Instead of allowing the accusation to become another serious discussion, Michael immediately challenges it. He does not carefully defend himself against something he believes was never logical to begin with. He dismisses the idea and points out how absurd the claim sounds when examined closely. The power of the moment comes from his reaction. The interviewer presents the rumor as something worth investigating, but Michael refuses to give it the importance it was never meant to have. By confronting it so directly, he exposes the weakness of the story itself. What was introduced as a shocking revelation quickly loses its impact, leaving the rumor looking less like a fact and more like another example of how easily strange narratives could be created around one of the most famous people on Earth.
You wanting to have a little white boy play you in a Pepsi commercial. That is so stupid. That's the most ridiculous, horrifying story I've ever heard. It's crazy. I mean,
Why? Number one, it's my face as a child in the commercial. Me, when I was little. Why would I want a white child to play me? I'm a Black American. I'm proud to be a Black American. I am proud of my race. I am proud of who I am. I have a lot of pride in who I am and dignity. That's like you wanting an Oriental person to play you as a child.
The conversation then reaches one of the most personal subjects Michael Jackson was repeatedly forced to confront: questions about his skin color and identity. The interviewer brings up a belief that had circulated for years, suggesting that Michael changed his appearance because he rejected who he was. But Michael does not allow the assumption to define the conversation. With calmness, he explains that his changing appearance was connected to a medical condition, not a rejection of his background or identity. He pushes back against the idea that his personal struggles should be turned into a statement about how he felt about his own heritage.
It has caused a great deal of speculation and controversy as to what you have done or are doing. Are you bleaching your skin? And is your skin lighter because you don't like being Black?
Okay, number one, as I know of, there is no such thing as skin bleaching. I have never seen it. I don't know what it is.
Well, they used to have those products growing up. I used to hear, always use bleach and glow, but you'd have to have about 300,000 gallons.
Okay, number one, this is the situation. I have a skin disorder that destroys the pigmentation of the skin. It's something that I cannot help. Okay, but when people make up stories that I don't want to be who I am, it hurts me.
So it is.
It's a problem for me, okay? I can't control it, okay? But what about all the millions of people? Let's reverse it.
Okay.
What about all the millions of people who sit out in the sun to become darker, to become
Michael's
other
most
than what
powerful
they are?
moment comes when he shifts
Nobody
the
says
direction of the
nothing about
conversation
that.
entirely. Instead of continuing to defend himself against the same questions about his appearance, he challenges the reason those questions receive so much attention in the first place. He questions why the world seems more interested in discussing his skin color than the work he created, the music he produced, and the impact he had as an artist. And with that, the balance of the interview changes. The focus is no longer on Michael explaining himself. It turns toward the people who constantly chose to define him through speculation instead of his talent. For Michael, the issue was never just one question. It was a pattern, a world that celebrated his achievements but repeatedly returned to his appearance. In that moment, he reminds everyone that behind the headlines was a musician, a performer, and a creator whose legacy was built through art, not controversy.
It's in my family. My father said it's on his side. I can't control it. I don't understand. I mean, it makes me very sad. I don't want to go into my medical history because that's something that's private, but that's the situation here. So please, when people see something like that.
I just want to get this straight.
Yeah.
You are not taking anything to change the color of your skin.
Oh God, no.
You did not purposely.
We're trying to control it, and using makeup evens it out because it makes blotches on the skin, and I have to even out my skin. But you know what's funny? Why
Barbara
is that
Walters
so important?
later raises another difficult point, suggesting that Michael may have played a role in creating the mystery and attention that surrounded him. But Michael does not accept that idea. He pushes back by explaining the impossible position he often found himself in. No matter what choice he made, the public seemed ready to create a different story around it. If he changed his style, people called him unusual. If he protected his private life, they described him as secretive. If he spoke openly, his words were often reshaped into something else. Michael understood that the media was not simply reporting on him, it was often creating its own version of him. And he makes one thing clear: being famous does not mean losing the right to privacy, or becoming a character that others can freely rewrite. Then he brings up Princess Diana, and the comparison makes his point even stronger. Her experience showed that even the most admired and recognizable figures in the world could become overwhelmed when public curiosity crossed the line into constant intrusion. For Michael, fame was never just about being seen. It was also about living with the consequences of being watched by everyone, all the time.
Dress, the way you look, it invites attention. The whole appearance adds you up. was larger than life, more extreme. You don't think that calls the paparazzi to you?
No.
No?
No. Maybe I like to live that way. I like to dress that way. I don't want paparazzi, really. But if they come, be kind. Write the right kind thing to write.
Michael, is it the journalist's role or the press's role to be kind?
To be kind?
Because the press also sometimes has to look into things, be tough. Can't always be kind.
What you saw what happened to Lady Diana. You tell me. There should be some boundaries, some kind of way. The star needs some
And then
space.
reaches one of the
Give
most
him a
serious
chance to
and
relax. He has a
difficult
heart.
moments of Michael
He's
Jackson's public life. Diane Sawyer addresses the allegations directly, bringing forward a subject that had already attracted enormous public attention. But Michael does not avoid the question. Instead of changing the subject or hiding behind carefully prepared answers, he faces it head-on. He responds with a clear denial, insisting that the accusations did not represent who he was or what existed inside him. When the discussion turns toward the police photographs and the public images connected to the case, Michael challenges the assumptions being made around them. He argues that the reality behind the headlines was not as simple as the public had been led to believe. For him, this was not just another rumor to ignore. It was a serious accusation that could affect his name, his career, and the way the world viewed him. And in that moment, Michael's message was clear. He did not want people to treat life-changing claims as just another sensational story. He wanted the difference between accusation and truth to matter.
I want to be specific as I can. Did you ever, as this young boy said you did you ever engage, fondle, have sexual contact with this child or any other child?
Never, ever. I could never harm a child or anyone. It's not in my heart. It's not who I am. And it's not what I'm not even interested in that.
And what do you think should be done to someone who does that?
To someone who does that, what I think it should be done, gee, I think they need help in some kind of way, you know?
How about the police photographs, though? How was there enough information from this boy about those kinds of things?
The police photographs that they took of me,
Yes.
there was nothing that matched me to those charges.
There was nothing. There was nothing that concurred.
That's why I'm sitting here
There was
talking to you
nothing.
today. There was not one iota of information that was found that could connect me
Michael
to
does more than
these
just
charges.
There was
nothing.
marking of
Accusation.
some kind.
No
He
marking.
challenges the entire way the conversation is being shaped. The question attempts to attach a negative interpretation to his actions, presenting them through a lens of suspicion. But Michael refuses to accept that explanation as the only possible truth. He argues that something he viewed as innocent and harmless was being transformed into something disturbing by the way others described it. And that is what makes the moment so significant. Instead of allowing the interviewer to decide what his actions meant, Michael takes control of the narrative. He separates his own intentions from the assumptions placed on him and insists that people look beyond the interpretations created around him. The conversation stops being only about the accusation itself. It becomes about something deeper, the struggle between a person's own truth and the story the outside world chooses to tell about them.
What is a 36-year-old man doing sleeping with a 12-year-old boy, or a series of them?
Right. Okay, when you say boys, it's not just boys, and I've never invited just boys to come in my room. Come on, that's ridiculous. And that's a ridiculous question. But since people want to hear it, you know, the answer, I'll be happy to answer it. I have never invited anyone into my
The
bed
same
ever.
pattern appears
Children
when
love
another
me, I love
interviewer
them, they
questions
follow me,
Michael's
they want to be
relationships
with
with
me.
children and the way he expressed his affection toward them. Michael immediately recognizes the direction of the conversation. To him, the issue is not simply the question itself, but the assumption behind it. He feels that an act of kindness and care is being viewed through a lens of suspicion rather than understanding. Instead of accepting that framing, he challenges it. Michael argues that compassion and innocence should not automatically be interpreted as something negative. He pushes back against the idea that warmth or generosity must always have a hidden meaning, and that changes the dynamic of the interview. The host attempts to create discomfort around the subject, but Michael redirects the focus toward the way those questions are constructed and why certain actions are being judged so differently. Once again, he refuses to let someone else define his intentions for him.
When you're talking about children, we met Gavin. And it was a great privilege to meet Gavin because he's had a lot of suffering in his life.
Yeah.
When Gavin was there, he talked about the fact that he shares your bedroom.
Yes.
Can you understand why people would worry about that?
Because they're ignorant.
But is it really appropriate for a 44-year-old man to share a bedroom with a child who is not related to him at all?
That's a beautiful thing.
That's not a worrying thing?
Why should it be worrying? Who's the criminal? Who's Jack the Ripper in the room?
When Ed Bradley brings the allegation into
This is
the
a guy
discussion,
trying to help heal
Michael
a child.
does not allow the accusation to control the entire conversation. He responds immediately and directly, making his position clear and rejecting the claim being presented. There is no hesitation in his response. Rather than appearing uncertain, Michael remains firm and focused as he explains his perspective. He points out that his connection with children was tied to a long history of charity, compassion, and efforts to bring happiness to those who were suffering. For him, helping sick children was not a new behavior created for public attention. It was something that had been part of his life for years. The question attempts to place suspicion on an act he viewed as kindness, but Michael refuses to accept that interpretation. Instead, he challenges the idea that generosity itself should be viewed through a negative lens, reminding the audience that behind the headlines was a long record of humanitarian work and personal compassion.
What is your response to the allegations that were brought by the district attorney in Santa Barbara that you molested this boy?
Totally false. If I would hurt a child, I would slit my wrists. I would never hurt a child. These are totally false. I was outraged. I could never do something like that.
This is a kid you knew?
Yes.
How would you characterize your relationship with this boy?
I've helped many, many, many children, thousands of children.
Then Ed Bradley turns the conversation toward old documentary footage, using Michael's own past words as a way to challenge him. But Michael does not allow the moment to become a trap. He recognizes that a single clip can be interpreted in different ways, and he believes the context behind those words matters. Instead of reacting emotionally or allowing the conversation to shift into speculation, he stays focused on explaining what he actually meant. Michael carefully repeats his position and refuses to let the meaning of his words be rewritten in front of him. The interviewer appears to be searching for a stronger reaction, perhaps frustration, confusion, or a contradiction. But Michael does not give him that moment. He remains controlled, protecting the message behind his words rather than allowing one edited moment to define an entire story.
So Michael stays careful, repeats his point, and refuses to let the question change the meaning of what he said. He does not give Ed the reaction he seems to be waiting for.
That British documentary last February, which you didn't like.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
You said in that documentary that many children have slept in your bedroom. You said,
Yes.
and I'm going to quote here, "Why can't you share your bed? The most loving thing to do is to share your bed with someone."
Yes.
As we sit here today, do you still think that it's acceptable to share your bed with children?
Of course. Of course, why not? If you're going to be a pedophile, if you're going to be Jack the Ripper, if you're going to be a murderer, it's not a good idea. That I'm not. That's how we were raised. And I didn't sleep in the bed with the child. Even if I did,
Michael
it's okay.
turns the
I
moment
slept
into
on the
something
floor.
much larger than a
I gave
simple
the bed to the
response to
child.
another rumor. He does not deliver a dramatic speech or try to create sympathy. Instead, he makes a simple point. Stories repeated often enough do not automatically become truth. For years, he had watched speculation grow into headlines, and headlines turn into public assumptions. But now, he refuses to let those narratives sit unchallenged. Michael makes it clear that he will not allow exaggerated stories to define his identity or overshadow the person behind the fame. The focus shifts away from the rumors themselves and toward the responsibility of those who spread them. Because behind every headline was a real person, someone whose life, work, and reputation were affected by the stories the world chose to believe.
Oh boy, I love what I'm doing now and to do everything I can to help the children. And hello, Bobby Sherritt.
I just want people to know what they're dealing with before and understand that I'm not that we are not. The jokes, the degrading comments, all that kind of stuff, it's really irritating. So I didn't get to get into that. This is over already, but
we want to choke them.
All right,
yeah,
so 5 years.
Don't believe the garbage. All the tabloid junk. Don't read it. Don't listen to it. It's garbage. It's junk. It's stupid.
The host turns the discussion toward Michael's personal life, attempting to present his family situation as something unusual or difficult to understand. But Michael does not allow the conversation to be shaped by that perspective. Instead of becoming defensive, he calmly explains his choices and keeps the focus on the meaning behind them. He refuses to let curiosity turn into judgment. What the interviewer presents as something complicated, Michael frames as a personal decision, one connected to his own experiences, values, and desire to create the kind of family life he wanted. Once again, he takes control of the narrative. Rather than allowing others to define his private life through speculation, Michael reminds the audience that there is a real human story behind the public image.
When I was talking to Prince one day, he said to me that he didn't have a mother.
He said he didn't have a mother?
Yeah, I said, Prince, where's your mummy? And he said, I haven't got a mother.
That's right.
Did you tell him to say that?
No.
What do you think he means when he says, I haven't got a mother?
Like he said he didn't have a mother.
Do you not think, though, that your children would benefit from contact with their mother?
No, because she doesn't... it's private information. She doesn't... She can't handle it.
She can't handle her own children?
She preferred them to be with me than with her. She's a wonderful person, too.
She knew that Michael Jackson loves children.
Yeah.
And she knew that Michael Jackson wanted children.
That's why.
And
she said, you need to be a daddy.
Right. She said you needed to be a daddy.
Mm-hmm.
More than she needed to be a mother.
Yeah. And she wanted to do that for me as a present.
As a present?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean?
It's a gift. I used to walk around holding baby dolls.
Really?
Yeah, because I wanted children so badly.
What you've just said is that your wife gave you 2 children as a present because she knew you wanted to be a father.
Yeah, it's a lovely gesture.
Well, it's an incredible gesture.
Yeah, there are surrogate mothers who do that every day. That happens every day in the world.
Figures. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts below. Your comments help continue the conversation.